Okay, what would you do if you overnight got 65.25 billion dollars? What would you do overnight?
Oh my god. Okay. Do I get to keep that money forever or do I have to spend it within that 24 hours? Okay. Hey guys, what's up? It's another episode of The Flip Side. Different setting. It's in the morning. Krishn's working the night shift again. So we're doing this in the daytime. But yeah, how's everything been, Krishn? I heard you got a new laptop. How come you're using your old one? Is it just for sentimental reasons? That's what you're saying just before this?
Yes, good morning, everyone. It's 10:30 in the morning, 18th of, what is it, May? Yeah, night shift this week, episode 35. 35, dude. 35.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. I started doing it yesterday. I started going through all our old episodes. I was like, dude, I can't believe we talked about this. We talked about this, and it's like, we talked about a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? But yeah, look, I'm still on my old laptop. I did buy a new laptop. And I will transition to the new laptop when I finish my university degree, which is in June. So I'll finish in June. I don't know. I started my uni degree on my current laptop. I'm like, oh, it's gotten me through so much. It just wouldn't feel right finishing it on the new one. It's been there for me. I'll finish my degree on the current laptop. But I don't know. I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I'll just do it anyway. It doesn't really matter. But sentimental. I don't know. I'm sentimental like that. And also, like, it's not superstitious. It's more so sentimental in this situation. Are you superstitious?
Not really. I think I agree with you where if you start up your new laptop, you're gonna like lose like a week due to just like transferring things over, figuring it out, playing around, troubleshooting different issues. So you'd lose a week, and if you have exams coming up, definitely not ideal. But on the other side, devil's advocate, if it's just sitting there, that's like value and money, because you know how every day you use something, you're sort of making use of it, and when you make it, technically it's like money. Like, you know how like instead of renting a car, if you own a car, you want to try and use the car as much as you can. It's sort of like that. So if it's just sitting there, it's like burning money, sort of. That's the other side, but I see both point of view, and also the sentimental side, I guess.
Sentimental side is just me being me, you know what I mean? But 100%, like, it's literally just sitting there at the moment, barely using it. Like, I use it every now and then just to watch like movies because it's got a really nice screen on it, like a 4K screen or whatever. But yeah, 100%. Like, as soon as my exams finish, I'm just, because that's the thing, I've got so many files, and like, you know how you tweak your laptop to exactly how you want it to be? You got applications exactly where you want it. You got the toolbar set up, like things that you've set up over the years on your current laptop, you don't realize how long it's taken you. And so like, I'm conscious of that. So I'm like, I know it'll take a long time to switch. So I just finished my last assignment ever at uni, actually. So yeah, submitted my last ever assignment. So I can actually transition across because my final exam is online and it's a multiple choice. But yeah, I'll actually do that tonight. Yeah, why not? I'll go gym tonight, maybe tomorrow. Yeah.
It'll be fun. It'll be something fun. And then, talking about the flip side, we rarely get to talk about you as much, but congratulations on those, 2 offers that you've gotten. Like, that's a big thing, Krishn.
Thank you. Yeah, so, when people graduate from uni, they can apply to graduate roles and graduate programs that, like, I don't know how it works. It probably works the same in America, or it definitely works the same in America, except I feel like America, the competition is a bit more, like, messed, but at the same time, the positions that they have available is a lot more as well. But yeah, here, when you graduate, there's always positions that you can go into. I think if you go into like a sciencey degree, there's you can still apply to like the banks and like, professional services firms at the same time as well, because the banks they don't discriminate in that sense. Like, you can do a bachelor of like agriculture and still end up working in a bank, you know what I mean? Like, that's what the banks advertise themselves on and pride themselves on. So like, I was watching like the application, how banks, how they always try to they put out the propaganda and say, oh, come work for us, put out videos like it's an amazing lifestyle, it's amazing. I was watching it, and you see one of them, somebody studied a bachelor of optometry and is working in financial markets in one of these banks. Like, they offer like a program as a graduate for a graduate role for recent graduates as a role in a program and financial markets, and they're bloody studying optometry. And I'm just like, how does that work? Like, what, why? Like, what's the point? People go out there, study so hard for commerce and everything. But yeah, man, it is what it is. I got a few offers this time around. Last year wasn't so good. Last year I didn't get anything, which is odd, right? Like, it's how can 1 year change so much? But I did change a few things. I changed my resume. I got a job. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm keen. I'm super keen for what's ahead, but it's super competitive, dude. It's just not fun, the entire process. You got like thousands and thousands and thousands of people applying and only like 2 spots or 3 spots available. So it's not fun.
So last year when you wasn't a graduate and you were applying, and this year you are a graduate applying, and let's say like 5 years in to the workforce, could you still apply for like these graduate positions, or how does it work? Yeah.
So the way it works in Australia is most places require you to have graduated within 2 years. So within 2 years of graduation, you can apply, because it's not easy. Some people graduate and they can't find a single job. Like the thing is, people think that. Okay, here we go. We're going into the flip side. People think that when you graduate from university, it's like, oh my God, you've graduated. Oh wow, congratulations. And then no one's going to go up to you and like, here's a job for you, sir. Please come and enter the workforce. No, you got to go and find that job yourself, right? And you see all those memes that are out there. It's like, if you want to work at this company, we require 15 years of experience for like an entry-level position. You know those memes and stuff? It's some of it, there is basis of some truth in that, whereas obviously it's misconstrued and very skewed in the sense that they don't ask for like an extensive amount of period, but some people graduate with no work experience at all, like in a cafe as a bartender or anything. So like, how can you expect to get a job graduating with no experience? Mind you, a lot of people do have done that. They don't work at all and just graduate and get really good marks. So you can either get really good marks and no work experience and get a job, or you can leverage a bit of both and get a job, or you can have no job, shit marks, and go, where's my job? You know what I mean? No one's going to give you the job. So I don't think people understand that, when you graduate, it's not easy to get a job, and it's like extremely hard, especially in the places that everyone wants to work, like banks, investment banks. This is, say, graduating from a commerce degree, like a business degree, or like, massive corporations, Apple, Google, Microsoft, etc. Right? It's hard. It's not easy, and people don't realize it. And that's why they say 2 years within 2 years of graduation, because people graduate, can't get a job, sit around, try and apply, and then it's bad because for people with mental health as well. Like, imagine just getting rejected upon rejected. It's not easy. It's really not easy.
That's crazy. And wow. And do you think you're sort of in the sort of middle class where it's just so competitive, or do you think it's just like all around? If you're just like a normal accountant, or if you just got like a TAFE degree for like commerce or business, versus if you're like doing actuary, or you're doing med, or you're doing law, is it competitive all around and everyone's going to the 9 to 5? Or is it like a bell curve where just like maybe the finance sector is really hard?
I think it's like a bell curve in the sense that specific industries are extremely hard. You know what I mean? Like, obviously finance, business, etc. It's like competition is insane. People, that's the most like, utilized degree in the sense, the most signed up for degree, business, commerce, etc. And then I know people with med that do med, just from like speaking to people that I know that have done it or doing it or are wanting to do it. Obviously the competition just to do medicine is insane. Remember how people would always be doing, the UMAT they call it, and now they call it the UCAT. They got the GAMSAT. They go through so many interviews just to get into studying medicine. I'm not too sure what happens after medicine, because I think people want to do, study postgraduate medicine. We know someone that wants to do postgraduate medicine. They're going to be in uni for so this person's finished the undergrad. They're going to do now another degree in medicine undergrad. So 4 years completed, then a medicine undergrad, and then postgraduate in the sense of specializing. It's so tough. Like, I think no matter what industry you'll get into, it's so hard to get a job, especially nowadays. Like you got clinics closing, firms closing and stuff because they can't maintain clients, they can't operate shop, right? It's like I think I told you, like right now, there's a guy that was a chiropractor and he works with me at the moment in risk at a bank. Yeah, exactly. I was like, what? Like, why? Like, I don't know. For me, I could never see it like spending that much on a degree and just not using it. Like, if you're gonna not do a degree, just don't do a degree. You know what I mean? But each of their own. Like, I don't know. Aren't you happy you're out of that space? Like, in the sense that you don't need to worry about anything. You can go out and hire these people that are wanting a job and graduate. And you know what? You could actually get a lot of people that are willing to just work for you and do like basic accounts and basic receivables, etc., because they'd want a job, and at the end of the day you can give them what they want, and obviously you'll know that you're just a platform for them, but at the same time you can like it's so bad because you can just use them, you can just utilize them.
Dude, I was legit like beginning of this year, I was like, I want to have like someone in-house, like a real employee in-house working with me 9 to 5 every single day, forces me to get up out of bed each day and get ready. And I was like, maybe I could like hire some like paralegal, some law student, just graduated, struggling to find a job, minimum wage, personal assistant, 37k. What's minimum wage? 40k a year.
I think minimum wage is very close to 50.
Oh,
very
whoa.
close to
It's increasing. Okay.
Because I remember we had that conversation. You're like, oh, you know, I want a paralegal or a personal assistant, and you're like 37k, and it does make sense in the sense that in your business it would make sense, but like, I don't know, like, because the minimum wage is 50, so it's tough, you know, it's really tough, it's hard. You should still do it. Just do it. Get a personal assistant. Charlie's Angels.
See how like in this like environment, see how low people are willing to go in terms of wages just to get a job, just because it's so tough. But wow, I guess inflation is working, because like minimum wage has been increasing to like near 50k, which is good. But yeah, this morning I woke up and I was like thinking about, I was like, like if I were going down the corporate route right now, first year, you know, party, second year, start pulling things together, third year, start putting together like a nice day-to-day routine, studying routine, start applying for volunteering, start doing extracurricular activities, start going to all these different freaking what's the word where it's like fake, everyone's put up a fake, like there's fake sort of like seminars or those things where people just go just to networking events, like go to like the business like balls and do all those things, and then start just applying to everywhere 3 years in, you know, get one job while I get that job, still networking with other sort of managers and different firms, and like freaking being like a snake and still applying to 10 other jobs while I still got this job, and literally every 6 months try to get to the next job and jump, and then getting to know other business people and joining small firms and startups, helping them grow up their thing, then jumping back to like the bigger corporate firms with a bigger resume, doing a bunch of like freaking going on a bunch of boards, committees, like I'm like the vice president of the business freaking university thing, and just I was like that's probably what I would have done. Like I would have like went hard and just became this freaking like, you know, have you seen the movie American Psycho? I would have been like that, freaking have nice business cards, suited up, fresh cut, and like literally just like look down on anyone that's just like graduated with zero experience or zero extracurricular activity or volunteering.
You know what's this? You know what the weird? It just sounds so weird and unlike you at all. Like imagine, like thinking about it now. Like, could you ever see yourself in that sort of situation? Like, no way. You know what I mean? Like you look back at everything you've done just this year, last year alone, in the past 1 year alone. Could you imagine you being in uni, like, you know, just, you know, being like a normal uni student? Because at the moment, what you've done alone, like people at uni that are graduating wouldn't be able to like fathom it or like be able to like understand as to like what's going on. But like you've done this, you've set up your own business, you know exactly what it means to do that. If anything, like you doing this, you get a holistic understanding more so than what a student graduates with just the learnings they have from a textbook and the lecturer. Lecturer usually doesn't give a shit about them, whereas you've built something from the ground up, hired people, you know what the HR function is like, you know what the accounting function is like, you have a good relationship with your accountant, like you've done. That's actually kind of sick, you know. Like, I don't think you realize it's actually kind of sick.
When you said, I was like thinking, if in an alternate universe, if I went down that route, because that, I think I, like, you know, I was sort of on that route. Like in uni, I was like freaking just like past papers every single day, every day, 3 different past papers, writing an essay every day, doing a a chemistry or physics past paper every day, doing a maths past paper every day, freaking just pumping out essays just like a robot, just like grinding it out. I was like trying to work, earn money, and like I was like trying to do volunteering. I was like in the Bankstown Youth Committee. I got like a co-op interview, and I was like going down that route. I was like freaking gunning to be like one of those like freaking I don't know what you call them, but if I went down that route, I reckon like in an alternate universe, me right now, I'd probably be like maybe like a assistant or like a personal assistant or like a mini version of some like big financial guy, and I'm basically somehow finesse my way up to where now I'm working side by side with him. I'm carrying all his books, I'm joining all his meetings, and I'm freaking working like a dog 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. But I think I'm the king. I'm dressed in a suit and going to train, going home every day. I'm not seeing any of my friends in a while, and sometimes if Krishn hits me up, I'll be like, yeah, let's grab 30-minute lunch at 12:30 p.m. In some coffee store in the city.
Oh, Tony. Okay, stop talking about this. It's actually scary now. Like, like the personality, you'd be so much more different.
I know.
Like you wouldn't be as open and honest and like, trying to, how like the way you operate is you're open, honest, and you're quite, you allow yourself to be vulnerable around people that you trust, in the sense that, you're open to, just asking questions that you just don't know about. Like if you don't know something, you'll ask it and you're not scared about that. Whereas some people, even people that I know around the people, they don't want to like show that they're inferior or like stupid, so they don't ask those questions when really they don't have a clue either. You know what I mean? So like you wouldn't do that. You'd just be the complete opposite. You'd just be...
I'll be the most fakest version of myself, because I know how to be fake. I know how to like freaking be super nice and charismatic, where like people just like take me under their wing, but like it's like tiring. It's like
it is tiring, but at the same time it's like you'd rather be that than like...
But we've seen some pretty charismatic people that are just really charismatic. They're definitely putting on like a front, but like like as a result it's tiring. They're burning out. They're always having to hold this image. But like we've seen people who are just like beasts. I think like that's like a bit like like it's like I'm trying to put the word, like whether it's like psychopathic or like personality disorder. Like it's like not healthy to do something like that, but that's like the most extreme evil. Like freaking, you're this super nice guy that everyone loves. You're super savage. You're like, you have like intentions. Like, yeah, thank God I didn't go down that route.
Yeah, like it takes a lot to maintain as well. Like, I don't know, like I even with myself, like I just like to take a stand on the side and just look around and just watch everyone do their stuff and everything, you know what I mean? Like as opposed to just wanting this, like exerting like unnecessary, massive, huge hog energy on someone if they don't know something, or like act as in like mansplaining something to someone when they know something, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, it could never be me. It just doesn't sit right. But yeah, like what can you do? Like, I don't know.
Talking about vulnerability, dude, yesterday I woke up, I usually have my phone in airplane mode. I didn't touch it, got some work done, lunchtime, still didn't have my phone, kept on airplane mode. And then after lunch, I think I somehow turned off airplane mode and started getting all the notifications, like go on social media, and then I was just freaking on the phone from like, I don't know, like say 3 p.m. all the way down to like 8 p.m. or something. And I was like, oh, okay, like I can't really finish off the day because I'm just like too tired, or like I'm just too lazy at the moment. Let's take the night off early, shower, go on bed, and it's like 10:30 and I'm just wide awake. I'm like, oh, okay, I can't sleep. Let's go ahead and watch some YouTube videos to get tired. Watch YouTube videos, and all of a sudden it's 12:30 a.m. So I sleep late, and I wake up, and this morning my brain is just scattered. Like I'm just like, my meditation is off. I can't be bothered to do any work. I'm not tired, but at the same time I'm not productive. There's this weird limbo I'm in. And I think the hypothesis is, one, I shouldn't go cold turkey and not touch my phone for a long period of time, because then the moment I touch it, it's like withdrawals come in, and now I'm just using it a lot. So I should just, not use it until I finish my morning routine. Check my messages, see if there's anything important around 10:30 a.m. Put the phone away, maybe check it before lunch, and check it throughout the day. Whereas like holding it off for the whole day and then touching it at the very end of the day, I'll just get sucked into it for a few hours. And two, maybe when I'm scattered, just like go back and just take a quick nap until my motivation recovers.
I think, you know what you can do? You can set up like notifications on your phone to only accept notifications from text messages, calls, because if you put on airplane mode, you could miss it, like a call or something. You know what I mean? That's the thing. What you could do is just either turn Wi-Fi off so you don't get the notifications, you only get important ones, or you can like set up notifications. I don't know, like on my phone, I can set up notifications to only be received from text, calls, or like certain apps, or like if you don't want apps, you can just disable them.
Swipe down to see your notifications? Is that a thing? You swipe down?
Yeah.
Do you find yourself every time you go on your phone, you just swipe down? Like you unlock, swipe down. Like I'm always swiping down, checking to see if there's like a new message, and it's like a bit of a weird habit. Like I would log on, I'd go unlock, swipe down, and then you're just
Kind of, yeah. I know what you mean, yeah. Because when you see the bubble, the notification icon at the top of your phone, it's not...
Oh man, so addictive.
It's like easy to, yeah.
I'm just looking at those new messages and notifications, and dopamine is just rushing into my head.
So I think either turn Wi-Fi off, or like I set it up in a way where I have do not disturb on from a certain amount of time. So from, time X to time Y, and I can set it up customly, depending on the time. So you can set it up to be, say, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And after that, look at it all, because you won't get the notification and your phone won't vibrate or buzz or anything. And then after that, do that, because there's just no point. You're always stuck on it. Like we've talked about it before, cold turkey doesn't really work because you just naturally draw into it. It's so hard to cold turkey for something in this day and age, unless like something's really happened where you just don't want to look at anything anymore. But I don't think cold turkey works. But yeah, like probably try and do it. But like you just gotta, I don't know, bro. I think it's all the crypto as well getting to, crypto's on the floor at the moment. Yeah, everything's happening, but nah, I think don't cold turkey. Cold turkey won't work either. Just set up a notification on your system on your phone. I don't know if you can on iPhones or not. I don't really know. But try that, see if it works, and then from there you got to move on. But yeah, dude, like I don't want to talk about crypto again, but we're going to talk about it briefly. Oh god, bro, Elon Musk, bro. Did you see?
He sold his Bitcoin or something.
Yeah, he holds a lot. How much does he hold in market value? I heard it's like an astronomical percentage.
Well, I know for Dogecoin, he holds 29% of Dogecoin, so that's a bit. But for crypto, I think he owns 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. But there's like a lot, like I think there's 1 trillion Bitcoin.
Hey, it's its lowest since February. That's a decent time to jump in. But yeah, like he holds a lot, so surely he could like influence a lot of the market value of the Bitcoin, wouldn't he?
I haven't ever calculated, but I want to see. Okay, holy shit! So Dogecoin, there's 8.909 billion. If he owns 29%, he owns 2.3461 billion. Now times that by a billion, okay. Billion, that is, damn, billion's a lot of zeros. Okay, billion is, that's 3 zeros, 3 zeros, 3, so 9. And times that by 50 cents. Holy crap, he has 1020. Oh wow, that's not much actually. Has 1 billion worth of Dogecoin.
Whew.
But that's actually a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And that billion, he probably only invested in the initial, like, 1/10 of that. Because Dogecoin went to, like, he's probably bought it at, like, way lower.
Who started Dogecoin? Like, I'm so confused. Like, who starts these altcoins? Like, can we start a coin ourselves? Like, what's the process of doing it? How do we do it?
Oh, actually, I was wrong. The market cap is 64 billion. Holy shit. He owns 18 billion worth of Dogecoin. Oh, damn.
He controls the entire...
No wonder he's pushing it so hard.
Yeah.
It's a bit like... People are saying how it's like lightweight, like illegal. It's like market manipulation. It's insider trading. It's like low-key, like very 100%. Not good. Yeah.
And he's capitalizing on it because the market is unregulated.
Yes.
There's no regulators in the market. Bro, imagine starting up a cryptocurrency regulator. If we start up our own regulation company.
That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea, dude. There's no regulation companies out there. If you start a regulation company that one individual can't hold more than X percentage of it, or if they do hold more than X percentage of it, I don't know, like...
How does a regulation company work? Are you then your one sole client is like the government?
So, think of it like ASIC, right? It would essentially be, you'd have to have a regulator in each country. Because crypto is essentially decentralized, right? It doesn't really have like a country in that sense. Like you can have a cryptocurrency, you can hold a cryptocurrency, but it's not an American one or anything. It's decentralized. It doesn't have a country of origin. It's just a freaking internet currency. That's why it's so hard to pin it down, because all the regulators that are out there, there are American regulators in the, you know, consumer competition industry for, you know, for businesses. You have ASIC over here, ACCC, that's the ACT, Australian Securities Investment Commission. So they're the ones that look at insider trading and, illegal
is ASIC
trading.
A private company or a government company? Oh, okay, cool.
It works underneath the government. However, they do operate, separate in the sense that they enact and enforce government regulations. So the government are the one that set the regulations, and they're the regulator. They're the ones that they're the watchdog, right? They're the watchdog. But cryptocurrency is different because you can't have an Australian cryptocurrency consumer watchdog, because that wouldn't work. You know why it wouldn't work? Because it's, like I said, it's decentralized. It's not Australian focused, it's international. Someone from Brazil can purchase a cryptocurrency, can purchase Bitcoin, etc., right? The regulation that needs to happen, it's either got to be it's hard. Like how would you regulate something that's unregulated? How do you regulate something that has no boundaries, has no borders and doesn't discriminate between countries, etc.? Because obviously there's different rules for America, different rules for England, Canada, here, Europe, etc., right? And because of that, like, I'm just trying to think about it. Like, you'd have to form like a cryptocurrency regulator by itself, and it would have to be an international organization. But to do that, you and I wouldn't be able to start such a thing. It would have to be an internationally agreed upon government-backed organization. So like all the governments come together and combine and create what? I don't know. Like, I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are on this.
It's pretty crazy how like I recently been studying like the taxes for crypto, and how companies like Binance, BTC Markets, CoinSpot, they're all like connected to the government, where every time you do trades on it, like the government, like they send the government, or the government can request your trade history, because you put in your ABN number, you put in your details, your driver license, so they can track everything. But there are ways where you can then withdraw money into your wallet, have the money in your wallet, and transfer that into something like PancakeSwap, which is decentralized, and just trade, buy and sell through there, and no one would ever know what's happening. And then obviously if you want to get fiat, then you could go ahead and transfer some Ethereum back or some Bitcoin back to Binance, sell it for Australian dollars, and then now you pay tax on the Australian dollars that you take out. Or maybe you just put in 60k and you withdraw 60k and you actually don't incur any taxes. And then you just, for the future, you just then use your wallet money to pay whatever you need tax-free. But then again, if you then buy a house with Bitcoin, the government's going to be like, where'd you get the money to buy the house? And then, so there's definitely things like that. But it's pretty crazy how like crypto's like, it's like this weird untapped space that can literally do everything behind the scenes.
It just reminds me of those movies, how you see like a shady not underground, but shady little sidewalk, and like, you've seen Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
Remember Diagon Alley?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cryptocurrency just reminds the whole market just reminds me of Diagon Alley, where in the sense that no, it's just a weird place in the sense that like anything can happen, anyone can do anything they want without any real repercussions, and it's only a matter of time before regulators step in. So I actually think I might chuck a little bit of money in it at the moment, because why not, right? But
I reckon that now is like the only time when you put in money, you could see 10x returns in a year, 5x returns in a year, and then every 4 years, every cycle, the returns are going to get less and less. And like I know that future me is going to wish I put my everything I own into it. But I've put in as much as I could. But like I think I'm going to try, like just try to put as much as I can in. I'm going to grind really hard. Every money I earn, I'm going to put it into crypto, just because the returns right now are just so crazy. Even if you buy at the peak and you just hold it for the next 10 years, you'll still get 10x returns in 10 years time, which is like 100% return every year, which is unheard of. But literally in 50 years time, when everyone uses cryptocurrency, the returns are going to go down to like 2-3% a year, or there's going to be zero returns, because it's just going to be this stable deflationary, inflationary sort of asset that keeps the whole market stable, because no one can print more money, no one's controlling it, and it finds market discovery, price discovery, it finds like the sweet spot where now it's now like worth gold, but it's even more consistent in gold, because you can't mine more gold.
Yeah, and until it hits that stage, that's when it'll even out. I reckon the mark will even out, but until then, it's kind of like just send it, eh? Like,
send it.
That's the only way I can think about it, other than, oh, I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna think about doing it right now. But I just started like doing a basic ETF stuff and like individual stocks. Might hit up our mutual friend and ask for his opinion about a stock. But that's our crypto update for this week. We won't go more into it because we tend to do that a lot in every week. I think every week we'll do it. Every week there's something new happening. So at the moment, cryptocurrency, like we're seeing that it's flawed a little bit in the price. There's a little bit of like gray area around it. It's like the hot topic for everyone. But one thing that we didn't talk about the other week? Okay, what would you do if you overnight got $65.25 billion? What would you do overnight?
Oh my God.
No. This isn't like a scenario that actually happened. I'm just giving you like, what would you do with it?
Damn. Like, okay. Do I get to keep that money forever, or do I have to spend it within that 24 hours? Okay.
Because you know who's getting it?
Who?
Melinda Gates.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. If they decide to split equally the fortune that they've amassed, Melinda would get $65.25 billion.
Wow.
And should immediately become more richer than Mackenzie Scott, which is Jeff Bezos's ex-wife.
But I don't know, that's so much money.
I have to say Melinda Gates is a G, like in the sense that she's always been vouching for humanitarian causes, and she's actually like, I'm not saying that Mackenzie Scott didn't deserve it because she was just Jeff Bezos' wife, but like everyone knows that Melinda Gates has done a lot, you know what I mean? And that's a lot of money, dude, overnight, like just $65 billion.
Because like I was thinking about like, I'll go ahead and buy a bunch of Bitcoin, buy a bunch of CryptoPunks, buy a brand new G-Wagon,
buy a boat,
pay off my mom's mortgage, buy a nice house, buy a private jet. But even after doing that, you've probably spent at most like 500 mil, and that's like literally 0.5% or 1% of all your money.
It's not even a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah. And now you got everything you want. I'll go eat 5-star restaurant, eat nice food, freaking just like fill myself up. But then what next? That's pretty scary. Thinking like, yeah.
And you know why it's scary? Because where do you derive your happiness from?
Yeah.
At the moment, mine is money. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, same.
Mine is earning money.
Keeps me going.
Yeah, it keeps me going, keeps me pushed. And like, when I earn that money, I'm like, okay, good. Obviously now I want to start more, but at the same time, when you have it all, where like that's when you that's I think that's why like you see a lot of people that are like a little richer like talk about depression and stuff. It's because they literally can get whatever they want in the world in terms of anything that has a monetary price on it. However, anything that doesn't, they can't get, and as a result, they're not happy. It's a trade-off, isn't it? Like,
I've even thought about like if my mom say passed away and gave me her house, and then my net worth instantly increased by like a few $100,000, it would make me not as happy because like now it's something that I haven't earned. It's not something that's not mine. I didn't go through like blood, sweat and tears to earn it. And like, you know, a part of me definitely wants to just like give it to my sisters for sure and not take anything, because I know how good it feels to earn everything that you have. And when it's like given to you, like, you know, my dad's let me hold, let's say he put in $50,000 in my bank account to hold for him, and then I given it back to him. But when I got that extra 50,000, I didn't really think of it as mine. But if I did, it would be this weird, unhealthy thing where I'll be like, all right, let's spend it all on crypto and buy a bunch of Bitcoin because you don't have any pain since it was just given to you. Whereas if it's your own money, you sort of feel every dollar that you spent because you've sweat for every dollar. Yeah, like that's something I've definitely thought about. Like if I was given money, what do I do with it?
it's like let's have a more like not genuine scenario, but like a more let's say, I don't know, we'll just say a separate scenario. Say you won the lottery. Winning the lottery makes it like puts everything in a lot deeper context, because you like winning the lottery is associated with positive feelings, happiness, and like, okay, you suddenly got that much money. Obviously, yeah, you didn't earn it, but at the same time, you felt like you did because you've won it. I mean, that's what the whole term, it felt like you've won the lottery, you know what I mean? Like that's what it means when you come across good luck. It's obviously different, but yeah, you're 100% right. However you come about the money that you obtain makes you feel differently about how you want to use it, where you want to, like, obviously if you receive money from deceased estates, you know what deceased estates are, right? Like, yeah, if you receive money from deceased estates, it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
as opposed to money that you've earned from hard work, investments, and etc. Like,
you know what, it was like when I used to play MapleStory. Funny we talked about that the other day. You know, I would grind, it would take so long to level up. And then there was these other sort of custom servers where you just level up with ease. Like you would just like level up and you get to 200 in like 2 hours. And those games at first, it was really fun. It was like, wow, I'm leveling up so fast. This is so fun. But it got boring real quick. It got so boring. It was like, wow, okay, I hit level 200. That's the max. What now? Whereas the other game where like, on the way to 200, it was like an amazing sort of journey. Now, if I were to win the lottery, I guess I'll just put it all into ETFs and just sort of live off the 5% income that I'll get interest per year and then sort of play it smart. But it's weird how stuff like, you know, TWOP, let's say I played TWOP and I was up 10 grand because of all these strategies and hypotheses I came up with, and I'm like freaking figuring it out. That would be something I'd with satisfaction keep. I'll be like, I earned that 10 grand because I really found an edge. I found a way to like win. Yeah,
it's like it's interesting that you say that, because yeah, I guess in every sort of scenario there's different outcomes, and I guess that's what they say. What's the saying? It's not the journey, it's the experience. Oh, it's about the journey. It's not about, I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's all about how you get to somewhere. It's about the journey of getting there.
You're right. The journey is the fun part, because I think if I were to get to a point where I have 100 billion and the whole journey would be worth it, but by then I'd know that 100 billion is nothing. If I want to freaking go to Mars, I'll spend all of it in literally 1 year. And I'll have to figure out ways to earn more money. But right now, our capacity is like so tiny. Like, let's say here, a good example. Krishn, let's say I gave you $100. You'd be like, okay, cool. No, that's like fine. But if I gave you $100 when you were 5 years old, you'd be like, oh my God, my life is like complete. Like, this is like 100 candies. This is like 20 chip packets. Like, what do I do with my life now? Like, oh, I'm gonna become this depressed 5-year-old. So I think it's like a bit of that. Like, if I was given 100 billion right now, I'll get depressed. But if I was given 100 billion when I'm like age 50 and my net worth is 100 billion, I'll be like, okay, cool, I know what to do with this. This is actually going to come in handy. I know how to spend this in the right way to take it further.
It's interesting, eh? Like, now I'm getting flashbacks. It's like, when you got like $100 as a kid, bro, you were actually the richest person in the world. I'm telling you, bro, you had the world at your feet.
Dude, a $2 gold coin was already like, whoa.
Yeah, it was like, dude. Or like, imagine someone rocked up to school with like a $10 note. It's like, dude.
And if you had a $20 note, game over.
Yeah,
game
honestly,
over.
Games that match. You are the G. You immediately you are single-handedly the fiscal supply in the entire school.
Yeah.
You run the school.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Monopoly.
Back in the days, I miss it so much. Speaking about Mars, I don't know. I forgot. I swear there was like a campaign going around with like regular people getting the opportunity to go to the moon or Mars, or what was it? I forget what it was, but do you remember that?
I think it was like they were looking for like 100 people or 1,000 people to go to Mars. Each person had to pay 100 grand for their ticket. So these were people who were going to sell off their house, sell off their mortgage, and go to Mars. And it was crazy how Elon Musk was trying to find it was like a balancing formula where it's like you need to have a strong enough need and want to go to Mars, but at the same time you needed to have some money to afford to go to Mars. So, there's literally millions of people that want to go to Mars, but there's only a small amount of people that have $100,000, and people with $100,000, only a small amount of them want to give it up and go to Mars.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, continue.
So it's like this small sweet spot, but I think with Elon Musk's sort of reach and sort of affluence, he'll probably find that 100 or 1,000 people that meet those criteria for sure.
Easily. Like it's a weird spot because you're right. You gotta find the niche amount of people that are just in the middle. But I'm looking at on Insta. I'll send you something really quickly. So it's this guy. His name is what's his name? Yusaku Maezawa, and he's venturing on the first civilian lunar mission. And it's called the Dear Moon project. So it's 8 crew members are wanted for the first civilian lunar orbital mission. And so they essentially need to find humans to go on a regular civilians to go to the moon essentially. And it's like, just normal people. So I think it'll be like the first time. I don't know. I think it's an Elon Musk backed thing, but
wow, this guy I think I've seen this guy's face somewhere. He's like this like rich ass entrepreneur that's now doing crazy things that are entrepreneurial, I think, or something.
It seems that way, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where I've seen him before. We'll put up a shot of the Instagram. Yasuku 2020 is his @ he's trying to go to the moon. And he's trying to get regular civilians. I think it'll cost a lot of money, but okay, get your free ticket to the moon. Link in bio to learn more. Oh God, would you do it? So here's the incentives. You will be the first civilian to the moon. You'll be the first woman reaching the moon, if you're obviously female. You'll be the first mankind accomplishing the lunar trip in 53 years. And you'll be one of 8. Like,
this is tough. I think
because if you do agree to this, bear in mind you gotta train for months and months and months and learn about it, because you can't just rock up in an astronaut suit and just be like, send me to the moon. You gotta train. You gotta, the G-force impact on yourself. Gotta gravity train, shit train, piss train, eat train, everything, right? Like, you got to take up months of your life.
Bringing it back to the corporate world, if corporate Andy were to exist, I reckon he would grind it out by the age of 30, get burnt out, midlife crisis, and just travel the world. And he would say yes to something like this. But the version of me now, where things just keep getting better and better over time, Obviously, there's ups and downs. Things are slow, things are fast. But I'm even stuff like 2 weeks quarantine, I would not want to do, because 2 weeks is so much time, because I just do so much in like 1 week, and then I can't give up 2 weeks. So if I have to give up like a few years to go to moon, might not be worth it. But hopefully in like say 80 years time, 60 years time, they do invent like this super fast space where you can literally do a week trip, go to moon, stay there for a few days and come back home in a week's time. That's something I'll probably do.
100%. Isn't it crazy to think in 60 years we'll be 80? Like it just...
Yeah.
God damn. But that only in 60 years, you're right, would we see technology where you can essentially just take like a fucking train to the moon, you know what I mean? Like it'd be so interesting. But yeah, 2 weeks is a lot of time. I think it'd take like a year of training, maybe a little bit more. But say it was only like 2 months, I reckon it could be a good opportunity to brand yourself. You could just take up a few studying.com posters, stick it up on the side of the spaceship, and then like just market yourself, because obviously it'll get worldwide attraction. You'll be one of eight going to the moon. You'll be like, I'm an entrepreneur. I own studying.com.
That's actually pretty smart. That might be actually worth it. Like if I change it into a PR stunt, that might actually be worth it. You're right.
And then you call out Jake Paul at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what
Jake Paul.
Oh, Jake Paul, visit studying.com, and like, yeah, I think that could be worth it. But interesting. I want to hear what everyone else would think if they would go to the moon in terms of for one of eight people. Like, it'd be very interesting. I don't think I'd go. Only because it's just like, you're right, it's just so much time, and it's just like, maybe you're right, maybe 30 years down the track, midlife crisis, send it. I'm down. Like, it's
crazy how we're both in a state where there's just so much growth and so much going on, where like we haven't hidden that plateau. Things haven't, years or months haven't blended into this same looking thing. We've just like kept going to the next step. So we're like, wow, like things are moving fast, we're growing, and it's just the fun is like, the journey is actually really, really fun. This whole process, and then I guess you've like experienced it, like you've become like a different person since a year ago. You've gone, like, now you're probably at a baseline where now you're probably going to be set for a job for the rest of your life. Like you've acquired enough skills where you'll probably know how to always get a new job whenever you need it.
Yeah, that's true. Like I'm at a small plateau. Like, how on a curve it's like plateaus a little bit and then it keeps going. Oh, I think I'm at that small plateau at the moment. I think we all are. We're all at that small plateau at the moment where we know that in the future, Dogecoin to the moon, you know what I mean? Like it'll just keep going up. But yeah, like we'll see what happens in the future.
On that topic, before we end it, last night when I was having a shower, I was really thinking about that topic on how like, wow, I haven't had this like exponential leap in a while. Like my last exponential leap, if I was thinking about it, was probably first year uni, second year uni, where I figured out dropshipping, got on a bunch of news articles, went from like making nothing to like sort of nearly making like I was making 6 figures a year, but I wasn't netting 6 figures a year. Going to America, San Francisco, working in startups, being surrounded by all these cool supercars and people. That was like my like exponential leap. I went from like being this normal uni kid to like doing all these crazy things. And then since then, it's been nearly 3 years of just steady. Things have just been steady, and I haven't had that next exponential leap. Now I'm feeling it's coming soon. I just need to keep pushing. But sort of like Bitcoin, how like it just goes up, down. And obviously I'm not on a downtrend, but if it was in Bitcoin time, I am going through like a bear market right now, and I'm slowly pushing towards that next sort of bull market where it's just going to be a massive leap, and it's like a paradigm shift. I just jump to the next level, and it's weird with life. You don't really take small steps forward. Even though I said every day you should take one small step forward, but I mean when it comes to like progression, it's usually like you take no steps at all. You take like a small step forward, but then you take a small step back and you just hover around the end, like the same spot. Or you just take this big, like it's checkpoints. Life is like checkpoints. That's it. Yeah, like right now, if I were to give up, I'd probably drop down to the person who can make 6 figures, drop shipping, know some cool people, travel the world, get on news articles here and there. But to get to a point where I'm like consistently making, say, 7 figures every year, freaking going like traveling in like nice private jets. Obviously, I don't own one yet, being surrounded by other really affluent people that are really doing well. I want to get to that checkpoint where like that's the new baseline. So I think in your life now, looking back, every 4 years, if you keep pushing it, you hit this new checkpoint where it's just a 4-year grind to get to that next checkpoint. But once you hit it, that's your new baseline.
I agree. I think obviously the time frame in terms of every 4 years, 3 years, 2 years is different for everyone. Some people it's 1 year, some people it's 2, but I think a good time frame is 4 to 5 years. 4 to 5 years is a good checkpoint, and then from there just really leap. But you're right, like obviously if you feel like you're going down a little bit, it happens. You got to take a little, sometimes you need to take a step back to go forward. Sometimes it happens like that, but it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before everything just, clicks into gear and then goes off. And look, if you keep working hard at it, I don't need to tell you, we've said it so many times, keep working hard, it'll all happen. And after a while, new checkpoint, new plateau, and then you reckon reevaluate everything or take a step back, enjoy it, and then go again? Or what do you reckon?
Not me. I tell myself that I want to really embrace it and really milk it as much as I can this time. But knowing me, the moment I get comfortable, I'm going to try to like figure out and make it more difficult and more uncomfortable and get to the next step. It's crazy
which is normal. It's natural progression.
Yeah. It's crazy how like before I figured out dropshipping and before that first paradigm shift, whenever I would talk to like say Kevin, one of my old friends, we would catch up and I'll be like, yeah, I'm getting close, I'm figuring it out, getting there. And then it's crazy how like if I were to catch up to Kevin, I'd be saying the same stuff. I'm like figuring it out, getting there, trying to get to that next level. And it's crazy how hopefully, I think this is the fun thing about life. There's always hopefully going to be challenges where I think a lot of people, when they do get into depression, is when they sort of just plateau and they don't try to get to the next paradigm, because getting to the next paradigm is so hard and tiring. It's just as hard, and it's crazy how making $50,000 a year is just as hard. Going from 0 to 50,000 is just as hard as getting from 50,000 to 100, which is just as hard as getting from 100,000 to 1 million. It's crazy how like each journey is actually just as hard, even though it might sound like, wow, 100K to 1 million seem like a huge jump, but you're also much more smarter, you're more experienced, you have much more stress tolerance. So the 10x improvement, or like at the each 10x, it sort of just works out, because it's crazy how like I've been through so much, but to get to the next level, I'm going to have to take on freaking say 100 decibels worth of stress compared to 10 decibels worth of stress. And then to get to 10 million, I'm going to have to take on 1,000 decibels worth of stress, and it's just going to keep getting harder and harder. But then I would always hit these checkpoints. But yeah, that's some long-winded realizations on like my own graph.
The long-term realizations of the relative proportions between, stage 1 growth, stage 2 growth, stage 3 growth. But yeah, I think that was perfectly put, well put. We'll continue.
One similar metaphor would be like any sports, how like the growth at Div 1 or Div 4, Div 3, Div 2, Div 1, I don't know, like the actual series championships, and then the side championship, the main championship. Each one, it's like it gets exponentially harder. And for some reason, it doesn't get any easier. Even though you're getting better and better, it's still just as hard to get to the next level, even though now you're in the top 1%.
That's why watching competitive sport with different tiers is so interesting, because you're 100% right. It gets so much harder as you go up, but you get accustomed to it. You grow with the pressure. You're used to it now. You're ready for it. You're not. And when you just walk in,
the moment you think that you've got enough experience, you got enough endurance, stamina, that it should get easier over time, but weirdly it just gets harder.
It'll get harder, but at the same time you've grown so much as a player person that you're ready for it, you're pumped for it, you're keen for it, you know what I mean? So Beautifully put. Beautifully put.
You're right, Krishn. This is a great episode. We're getting to a point where I can tell the vibe when Krishn's like ready to end it. Good episode. I'm ready to end it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for doing this, Krishn. This has been a great episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This episode was a bit more all over the place. We spent on some solid time on each different topic. I'm curious to see how you guys like this episode. YouTube is starting to come together. We're having like consistent viewership every episode. So thank you so much for all the YouTube supporters. And yeah, you can wrap it up, Krishn.
Yeah, like Andy said, thank you so much for the consistent viewers on YouTube, as well as those listening on Apple, Spotify, and Google, wherever you listen to it. Thank you so much. We see you. We see the 20-ish people, so
whoa,
gonna keep growing.
Really good.
Look, thank you so much, guys. This is episode 35. Soon, 15 episodes more until 50. I want to have a special guest of 50. Or if you want to be a guest, just I don't know. We're going to try and find a special guest. But look, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it, and peace.
Peace, guys.